Hello everyone, my name is Jody Gordon-Lucas and this is my design Toot Sweet, which I created with the Addy King Size Express. I named my design Toot Sweet because it goes together very quickly. I made this one in just about a day. All of the pieces are either rectangles or tubes, which are assembled with grafting on the vertical and with mattress stitch on the horizontal. It features a stunning layered portrait collar which gives a peek of the body color at the neck, and it looks simply amazing on. As I said when I was chatting with Josh, I was playing with two versions and I did decide to send in a second version, the sleeveless tank version, because it is absolutely adorable as well. But I decided to use this one for the judging because you specifically said you were looking for winter garments. I think that the tank version would be absolutely ideal for a summer garment. So this is Toot Sweet, and it goes together like that with the Addy King Size Express.
I really like that a lot. I particularly loved seeing it in her video, seeing it on a person. It looked gorgeous. I really loved the way she methodically thought out the way she joined pieces, what you were talking about, Karen, in order to make things shape and hang the way she wanted. She was very, very organized. She had thought it through very well, and her results were beautiful. I just thought it was stunning on her model.
I was concerned because I thought two horizontal, well, it's all horizontal stripes if you think about it, but then when you look closer, it's actually vertical as well, where you need it to be floating. So that's kind of fun that you play with that. And I had my desk, and then I put this on, and it acts like a corset. It just sucks you in, and because it's sideways, it feels very firm. It's not drooping to your knees the way some kind of, loosely knit merino single side might. But she kind of reined it in, and it felt like it was just shapewear I was wearing. It was really cool. It would be definitely easy to customize your size.
One thing I really appreciated about Jody is that in her video, she made it really clear that she was thinking about the customer and the knitter. She mentioned that she wanted to design something that somebody could make this sweater as their first project on the machine, take it right out of the box, and then make a sweater out of it. And I thought that was pretty neat, that, she was kind of aiming to build confidence in the new tool for somebody. I really liked the collar. I thought that the collar detail was cool. I loved that fold-over look.
See, I was really impressed with her use of finishing techniques. I mean, she just aced that. The different application of ratios of the mattress stitch. How clever, how simple. And she really maxed out she used the machine to full advantage. And she got the vertical stripes in the variegated, and she utilized, she joined them without mixing them, but it still works well together, and it's balanced by the neck. I'm not a huge fan of the neck myself, but then I haven't tried it on. And it looks good on the person. So I think that's just a personal thing. It's not a negative. But I think she was masterful in her finishing technique, and I think she really maximized the use of the machine. She made it really effective. She didn't force the machine to do, engineer it with the machine. She took the fabric that the machine happily made and then worked with that in a very elegant way. And it's different, it's simple, and as I say, it's very achievable by anyone, first trying the machine. I think you'd feel like you learned and made something successful by tackling that sweater.
Hello there, this is the Trans-Europe Express Vest. I made this piece out of the Nimbus yarn. I took it and used the Addy Express knitting machine to make these, this rope. So it's 6 stitches wide, and then it rolls in on itself and creates this really thick material, and then I used that to create the final piece, which is a 3-paneled vest. It's sort of après-ski. It has this color work at the top that's a little bit fun and kind of references those down ski vests that you might see with the panels in the back. And I think you would wear it in similar applications. So basically it's just appreciating stockinette. I think it has a lot of geometric interest that you normally would miss when you see stockinette really small. So to blow it up I think it becomes exciting. So that's the Trans Europe Express Fest. Thanks for watching.
In the photograph, the picture that focused on the shoulder, that was stunning. That's an art piece. I mean, this is beautiful. The fact that he got the multicolor in the dark, if he hadn't had the contrast, this would have been just looked like something for, in a monster movie. But it is beautiful. I too immediately thought, oh gosh, he's done this beautiful, it looks like he's got a knit together and an FXK there at the back, which what a much better way to look at how those decreases lie than to look at them large size. He did that beautifully, but then he should have done the body in the round. Oh my goodness. He's a relatively new knitter. That might be why it didn't occur to him. I'm sure it's occurred to him soon. But it's just a stunning piece. It makes me want to run out and do that.
I gotta admit, I love this. So do I. And it's just so darn creative. I mean, he used the machine to create his own yarn, which is, all these other things, I've done increasing, I've done almost everything that you can possibly think of on that machine, but I never thought of this, and so I was really, really impressed. And right now, because these big, huge, chunky knit things are so in, I don't know what to say. I think it's great.
I think that the scale of it was actually really cool. When I saw this, it was super eye-catching. I love that the scale of the transition, especially from the solid to the multicolor, because it just looks, the stitches are so big that it looks like those, the multicolored yarn is like just reaching down and grabbing the solid color yarn and pulling it up. I got a really tactile feeling from even just the photos of this piece. I definitely appreciate that he really thought outside the box in terms of the type of fabric that he wanted to create. That was really cool, and it was a super unique fabric for sure.
I loved it. I thought it was great. It's completely different. I love the idea of taking stocking stitch and letting it just roll its way under to form that apparent tubular look. I love the lot of stitches, and so people can really actually see their stitches. It's very good fun, but he made the color work, and otherwise it would be very dull. It would be kind of, but just that bit of color at the shoulders.
Hi, my name is Lauren Riker, and my design for this challenge is called Fall Frolic. This ensemble is inspired by fall and all the fun festivities that come along with it. It features this felted bag with a fun little ruffle and an apple on it. It's perfect for apple picking or for storing your yarn balls. The top is super cozy and warm while flattering your feminine figure too. This bell-shaped skirt has great movement and is perfect for dancing around in the leaves. All of these pieces can be made on the AliExpress in a jiffy. The front and back panels for this top took only 6 minutes. The panels on the skirt took only 10 minutes each. All you need to do is a little bit of finishing and you'll have yourself an awesome new garment. This felted bag was also made on the AliExpress. It made a perfect felting fabric, and making these I-cord straps went by in no time. Thanks for watching. Bye!
Well, I love that the second that I looked at this garment, even if I hadn't seen the designer's name attached to the photos, I would have known exactly who created this. She's, which is a great thing, I think, in the design to have an aesthetic.
And I must say, I thought she did a tremendous job. I love everything. I just wish she would have left the handbag out. I think the handbag was so I just sort of ignored the handbag and just judged the rest of it, although she did a nice job felting. But it looks like a child, whereas the outfit, I could wear this skirt. And I'm not exactly a slender person. It's the way it's executed is just great. The top has buttonholes with a little ribbon to keep it in a little bit. It slides right over the hip. Fits nice and snug where you don't want to show, a lot if you wear something over it. And the twirl factor is great. She really utilized the machine to the max, I think. was very, very creative. You used a good balance of hand knitting and using the machine. I really, really like this piece, obviously.
I thought it was great. I thought it was in the spirit of the machine with very simple additions in the hand knitting department. It didn't look boxy. She utilized the machine to be able to produce skirt fabric, which, you know, a skirt can be a depressingly large amount of knitting by hand. And so she just let the machine add the fun to it and then played. I think, yeah, definitely let's leave aside the bag, but the two garments, that top, very, very pretty. And the skirt, sheer good fun with the knitting machine. You know, the top, when she had it on, I would never believe that something that simple could look that good. It looked just great, and it put the yarns together beautifully. So I think it was really in the spirit of this particular challenge. And I love the fact she did the skirt as well, which I think is something that I would tend to shy away from hand knitting. And she just had fun with it. So she could give it some fullness and give it some movement. And it does look a really nice skirt.
Yeah. Well, and I think the fact that she used garter stitch along with the machine knitting makes it look far more as if you had hand knitted.
Yeah, and she talks about wanting to use garter stitch to show off the colors and to show off, and she thought that was the perfect stitch. And I also love that she finished it with, this is in the round, so you take it off the machine and you put this on a needle. And so she thought about, you know, if you're already the kind of knitter who's going to be using the machine to kind of not cut corners, but to zoom ahead. And yeah, cut corners. And you're also going to not want to do seaming and finishing, so she kind of carried the easiness through all the way to the finishing details, which I thought was really cool. And with everyone else with it. You know, if you were right there with the sexy, sassy, flirty, and then all of a sudden you're a child. And I just, no, don't do that.
But for a kid, it's
adorable. It's just, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Kat, you know, you've done a lot of felting in your history.
I too thought that the first I would rather not see. It's cute, you know, 4-year-old, 5-year-old, fantastic. I think she just couldn't stop. I can understand that. She probably thought, oh, you can felt with this yarn too. What can I do to felt it? And I probably wouldn't have been able to stop either. But anyway, I thought that the skirt was particularly successful in the way she shaped the gourds so that they moved well. It really couldn't have been shaped better. And the top fit beautifully. She's really, really good at fitting and shaping.
I'm Jeanette Cross, and this is Haunt and Fade. Haunt and Fade is made mostly on the AliExpress with a little bit of hand knitting thrown in. Yarn is held doubled throughout to make this perfect for a cold walk in the park or for curling up on the couch to participate in All Hallows Read. The front and back are related. The back is knit on the machine for all but 2 rows when it jumps off briefly to add a bit of ease. The front has a bit more hand knitting. Short rows shape the yoke, both to form the lovely scoop neck and to create the subtle curve at the top of the multi. Side panels have some machine-created increases. The sleeves jump on and off the AliExpress a few times to get the shaping right, but again, the vast majority of it is done on the machine. The hem ribbing is created after seaming, using a crochet hook to drop down 16 rows on the wrong side, but then hooking back up knitwise. Haunt and Fade shows the versatility of the Express and how easily it can be combined with hand knitting. It's wearable, flattering, and a little different. It looks like a put-together sweater, but it feels like your coziest sweatshirt, and it's going to be great for fall. Thanks, everybody. See you in round 5.
Now, and this one is different from all the others in that she worked this one double-stranded. So, which, amazingly, it has about the same gauge. It's just a little bit heavier and thicker. So I'm not quite sure what the purpose was. But, I mean, it's a cute little creative piece. And, I mean, it does have shaping in it, which is really nice. Not a total square. Made good use of the neckline. I mean, they kept it simple, which I think actually it looks quite nice on.
My notes on this, remember that I want it now.
In the photograph, I noticed that it looked impeccably done. There was particularly a shoulder picture from the side. And I looked at that and I thought, boy, oh boy, that is beautifully blocked. It is just, everything is right where it should be.
I actually like the short row shaping in this one. I think I did find it immediately noticeable and eye-catching, but I thought it was almost kind of cute and sort of, I don't think it creates And that really creates a bit of a round at the top of the, but I thought it was, knitterly, but maybe it would have been more knitterly to hide them better, but I thought it was kind of cute, and it formed a bit of texture that I liked, but I see what you mean.
Well, and the thing is what you don't notice on some of the others, and you do notice on hers, is that when you go off the machine, her gauge is different than the machine gauge.
The whole tension, the look of it.
Yeah, you can tell what part has been hand knitted and what part has been machine knitted. Whereas on some of the others, you can't tell. I mean, it's really. But I think part of that is because you had a double threaded too. It's really hard. She'd have to knit it super duper tight to get it. That would be tough to do.
I really like her neckline and shoulder treatment, the ribbon here and that folded down. I think that's so in spirit. It's keeping with the fall casual spirit. It doesn't look sloppy, it just looks casual, and she hit that on the head, I think.
And people who are using a machine usually like things that go quicker, so there's less finishing work. So, I mean, that's probably right up their alley. We haven't heard from you, Mary Heather.
I also love the neckline and the shoulder, the little touch of ribbing at the shoulder that echoed the ribbing at the bottom of the sleeves. I thought was a really nice touch and gave a nice design element there. Like Kat, I wasn't sure about the big box in the front. It's nicely shaped, which makes it more flattering. And I love those colors, those autumnal colors all over that. But I think I would have loved it more all in a solid color yarn. But yeah, the little detail just right here and the way that it transitioned into that very casual scoop neckline, I thought was so cute.
Hi guys, Tracy here, and here's Claudette. Sorry, not trying to be secretive, a woman of mystery, but she's on a box, on a truck in a box. Yeah, let's get to that part. The knitting machine, great fun, speed knitting, but speed knitting leads to special opportunities, ambitious goals, and sheer exhaustion. Thus the need for notes and the babbling. So, this is what I have left of the dark green. I still have some stripes, but I didn't use a lot of it. Here's a little glimpse at the shoulder treatment. I'm pretty excited about it. I hope you like Claudette. You'll see her soon. Thanks much.
Absolutely loved it. Man, she worked hard, really hard. But those shoulders are just amazing. And it looked so good on. Oh yes, please model it.
Really nice.
I thought it was stunning. Again, it's one of the engineered pieces, but she allows the machine to help her make lots of fabric. I mean, it just looks really good. You think you look like a football player, but you don't. You look great. And it's going to be ever so warm. So I think it's just beautiful. Man, what a lot of work she put in there.
Yeah, I agree with Lucy that the sleeves are incredible. I had a bunch of sleeves bunched up, but when I put it on yesterday, I felt like I felt like royalty, and I almost wanted it to just be a Spencer and to stop at the waistline, because the waistline and the multicolor and the welt, it added heaviness there, and I didn't really care for that. The peplum is great. I just would have maybe done a flatter waistband. I don't think the welts need to be there with the multicolor.
Well, I feel like the shoulder and the gorgeousness of that fabric is like the commercial for swatching when she had her progress video and was dumping out the boxes and boxes of swatches. I was just, I had to laugh, and I think it paid off in the shoulder design. Cerelia, you mentioned the welt in the waist. I agree. I think that the same technique was less effective in the multicolored yarn, although I really liked the overall shape of the jacket.
I will say, she comes up with these really wild ideas and uses a lot of different techniques, as she did on this one too. Unfortunately, I don't think it was executed well. The workmanship is just really not what it could be. You see a lot of stitches. There's little holes in the work. Things are a little uneven. I think it was a little bit, I think she bit off a little bit more than she could chew in such a time frame. Love the technique of how she gathers it. I mean, it looks absolutely stunning. The shoulders are absolutely fabulous, no doubt about it. Did it make the most of the machine?
Not so sure.
Not so sure about that part.
I think it is one of the most ambitious of all the projects, and I had to not laugh, but feel compassion for her in her video. She kept saying how exhausted she was.
We've all been there.
My goodness. I mean, she must have gone through a lot of samples to get those shoulders right, and she must have been cursing towards the end. But she really did. The shoulders are magnificent. They're kind of Elizabethan. And I think overall the piece was overdone. I think she should have stopped a little sooner with some of the ruching, I would call it. But it's a very beautiful piece. I would have closed the waistline completely. She closed it at the top and the bottom, and so it just sort of looks awkward.
Hi, I'm Katie Rempe, and this is my design, Lazy Sundays. It's a lounge pant that can form to pretty much any shape because it folds to fit the body. These are pretty big, as you can see, but that just means that it can fit anybody. All you have to do is grab the excess at either sides and fold into the middle, grab the cords that are attached from the back, cinch it, and then fold the tops over, have a nice little waistband. There's more than one way to fold them. You could grab the extra length from either side, and instead of pleating it in the front, you could tie it in the front and choose to still use the ties or not. And as you can see down here, the cuffs are also large for lounging, but if you do need to go up and get something, there's a button on the cuff that you just undo the little tab, fold this section halfway over, get the other button that's on the inside of the pant, and you have a nice, interesting line that will keep you cozy, warm, and relaxed.
Pants! Katie.
Pants!
Katie never fails to amaze us with her creativity and everything else.
I put them on my head.
We shouldn't laugh so hard, but these pants are really, really big.
They make an impact. They make an impact.
They do make an impact. And
One thing about the pants, they are big, but I think her inspiration pants were all very big. Thing is, the inspiration pants were all made from very thin woven fabrics, which is just going to be, it's going to have a different effect. So I think that these pants, I love that she took a really big chance. And I love that, she definitely made use of being able to use the machine and, do something with a lot of volume. But they also looked comfortable and soft, but you'd have to have a lazy Sunday because it seems like you probably couldn't walk around very much in them because they'd be so heavy they'd fall off.
And I do think that they actually, when I see her folding them and doing all these cool things, lines that she got and all of the really interesting configurations, I loved. But with this fabric and being so thick and 8 layers of fabric at the waist, and we just came down on her for the impracticality of the bath rug and whether or not it's going to be safe to have a ruffly edged bath mat.
Okay. I also love that she took such a big risk with heavy yarn to clothe a part of the body that people always want to have look smaller. I would love to see these on a dancer in movement. In fact, I'd love to see something choreographed with them where you keep changing the way you're wearing them. I'd also love to see them on a pregnant woman as she gets more and more pregnant. I think they would be wonderful for a pregnant woman and keep her nice and cozy, and the baby too. And she really did think about things like if you need to get up and walk, you better be able to button those cuffs. Not a lot of people, almost no one would knit these by hand because of the volume of knitting. Like, so really, I wish you would finish your purple pants, but understand why you didn't. But I think these are very interesting and she's a very daring designer.
Wow. She used the machine to liberate herself and do something that you wouldn't spend 6 months knitting. So she knit and had fun with the fabric, and she did something daring and something way outside the usual box. So for that, I think she used the machine in the very appropriate manner. I'm not saying, I think she was lucky to find a model who was willing to wear failing that Stephen West wasn't available, and he could have carried them off. I love the leg detail, the folding up the leg and that little band, the button band. I thought that was really, really thoughtful, and I think she had fun playing with it.
Hi, I'm Natalie Larson, and this is my sweater, Shades of Grey. For this challenge, I was really inspired by the shades of the yarn I was sent. I chose this lighter color, which reminds me of a big, cozy, comfy sweatshirt. The self-striping I was sent had some purple in it, but I didn't really use too much of the purple. I really focused on the very sophisticated, kind of murky, purpley gray. Wanted to really marry the idea of the two, the coziness with the sophistication of the darker shade, and play up the contrast between the two of them. Intended positive ease in this bottom-up raglan. Chose to do a raglan. I felt like there were going to be blocks within the sweater and the construction of it, and I wanted something to just break that up to the bust. The sleeves were all done on the machine. The beauty of this machine is that the base of this sweater could be made in a day if you want. So here's the back. There's a keyhole detail that's got a faux button and a little snap. So a little bit of the contrast, kind of like a little bracelet at the cuff, and then an echo of the keyhole at the back. Have a great day.
Well, my first impression watching her videos was I thought it was so interesting that she thought her inspiration for the color was really cozy sweatshirt, cozy sweatshirt, cozy sweatshirt. And then you look and there's these really elegant details. It's not a sweatshirty sweater at all, but it probably feels like one. And I kind of love that. I think that I appreciated that she had some braiding concerns in terms of, making that sweater work on a wide range of body types. I love the keyhole in the back. I loved it, loved it. Just the little detail, the open keyhole, and then that shape reflected going down. I thought that was so beautiful and really cool looking.
Well, and the one thing that Natalie, that she worked on her last sweater too, is that she carries the design through the whole piece. Like, she has this design on the front, and she also has it in the back just a little bit. She's done that quite a bit.
And to me, that actually, I wish she would stop at a certain point. I love the keyhole on the back. Yeah. I love the wrist detail. I love the bottom detail. But actually, this, for me, I just feel like it doesn't all need to be. It's like having, the hat, and that's just a purse, and that's just the shoes. That it's a little too matchy-matchy.
You really have to look at this close to figure out that this was done on an AliExpress. Her seams are impeccable, and the fact that, you really cannot see the seams at all from the right side. And so you would actually think that it was all knit in one piece in the round and hand knit. Look at that.
I think she picked up here and knit the trim down and then covered that with, oh, wow.
No. She has seams on me, and I'm telling you, it's impeccable.
I also really admired the shaping. In fact, there were several contestants who talked about how they took into account that they wanted things to be able to be sized for all kinds of shapes of women or men. And this was one of those examples, so I think that's a real plus. I could have used a little less of the design as well, the I-cord design. And one thing I would have done where the I-cord met the neck, there's I-cord around the neck, and then the I-cord sort of cable-y looking things come up there. I would have made it look like they were continuous. They seemed to meet with separation. You could see the ends of the I-cord there. That was just one little thing that I would have liked to have cleaned.
Okay. Yeah.
But I think it's a beautiful sweater. The shaping is really something.
Now, Lucy, this is not your color sequence either.
It's great. but I loved it.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily say I would wear it. I thought it was really elegant, beautifully put together. I liked the details. Maybe there was a shade too much on the front, but it really was stunning, and the whole thing was just elegant. So I was really impressed. I thought she did a fabulous job, and in fact that one I think got my highest score.
Hey, I'm Talitha Kuomi, and this is Buzz, named for the vibrancy of the color, the hum of the city, the energy level of my children, the go, go, go we're all involved in these days. It's streamlined because things that go fast are. The loose gauge allows it to be very form-fitting. I worked out decreases, and so the rest is very fitted to whoever wears it. Here's my cable motif in the contrasting color in Tarsha, duplicate stitch, so you could certainly leave these out. The coils of the spring, the release of the energy. The collar is meant to sit right at the edge of your shoulders, and the length is supposed to hit low on your hips. Let me show you this sleeve detail. Knit in 4 pieces for the body, 1 piece for the sleeves, but for a larger size, 2 pieces for the sleeves. I love this sweater. I love its simplicity, and I love the pop of the motif, and I wanted everyone to be able to knit it, so it needed to be gradable. Here is the cable. It's meant to come very long and low on your hand, and my sweater underneath, excuse me, and you can see the coils and the release. I'm Talitha Kuomi, and this is Buzz.
For me, I thought my favorite part here was on the sleeve. It didn't really come alive for me until she put it on in the video, and I saw that it was a split. I thought that was really attractive and really feminine, and I think we've seen really cool sleeve details from her before, just things that are not very normal, and she takes another otherwise basic shape that adds this little, very, very feminine and figure flattering. I couldn't believe how shaped and how shapely this was. She just shaped the sides and gave it some waist shaping. I think with the machine, I always expect boxy, simple rectangles, and that's not.
Yeah, it's not boxy. It doesn't immediately smack. I took a bunch of rectangles.
I thought it was a really wearable, elegant sweater. I thought that her focus on making something, keeping it simple and letting the color do the talking really for the design was a good one. It seemed kind of in her video like she was surprised by the brightness maybe of the red and thus pulled back with the use of the accent color a little bit. I really like the sleeve detail. I thought that was really cool. The stripes coming down, the cable at the end. I thought that was a really nice touch, and I almost wish she had carried it further up or maybe gone a little more with it because it was cool. Even just going halfway up the sleeves, there's so much. I don't think it was maybe as crazy as she was feeling that it was. And I think it could have been carried further and still been a really simple and elegant design and very wearable sweater.
The way she had this on the machine, and she did it so that there's a seam down the front and there's a seam down the back, and you can actually see the seam, but it actually looks like it's supposed to be there. You know, if you look at the sweater and at a store or something, you wouldn't think, oh, this was knit on a little, round knitting machine or something like that. You would actually think that that was part of the style.
I thought the whole thing was really attractive in a very simple, elegant way. She put it together really beautifully. I thought the sleeve finish was just lovely. Of course, I naturally gravitate to that lovely color. Just makes me smile. And I'm not sure whether more of the contrast would have actually, it's actually quite a surprise because there's nothing at the neck in terms of contrast. My only reservation with it as a garment is if you're wearing a long sleeve woolly garment, I have a feeling I'd want a bit more neck, but then you can always wear something underneath it. So that's a purely personal thing, but I think it looks very striking. She's made the most of the fact it's made in pieces by featuring the seams, and I think those tasteful little surprising cuts are just great.
I thought it was a beautiful sweater. The shape is lovely. She did a very nice job of putting it all together. Her sleeves are wonderful. I really admire that she didn't go overboard, like I'm about to suggest, but I would have maybe taken that sleeve detail and put it at the center of the back. Probably not in the front also, just the back. because it's a beautiful detail. She really came up with something there.
Hi, I'm Terry Rosenthal. This is Challenge 4, Express Yourself. Express yourself using the Addy knitting machine and hand knitting. This is called the Queen Anne Bomber. Queen Anne because it's a Queen Anne house I fell in, and Bomber because I'm either going to crash and burn or soar high on this design. It's a fitted jacket, and it has a collar on it that can be buttoned at the top or opened up for more of a blazer look. I did the main body on the Addy machine and the sleeves and the circular. I then did the collar, this part of the collar, the waistband, and the extended part of the sleeves in hand knitting. I also added some trim to it, which was hand felted along with the belt. And it has 3 snaps, and like you saw up here, 1 little button. I hope you like it. This is my design. Thank you.
She did a really nice job mixing the colors, the solid with the multi, getting it all in there. Her detail work, the shaping of it. I would have never guessed that this was knit on the Addy Express when I looked at it. It's another one of those that it's not a square. I think it's really cute. I really don't have a lot of negatives. The only thing that I would have left out is the I-cord belt. I think that it's just too flimsy. I think that it has such a chunky, cute. To me, it almost looks like a 1940s, like, there's a little volume in the shoulder, there's a big dramatic collar, it's trim at the sleeves, which is something that just always screams vintage to me, and it's very flattering. But the little I-cord belt is just, to me, no favors at all. I would have gone with a tiny little tab, like a motorcycle kind of tab closure, or just nothing, because it's just not bringing anything to the table. It's unnecessary.
In terms of the jacket, I thought the collar was really cool. I like the stripe detail around the edge. And I think outerwear seems to work really well with this yarn. I was really happy to see a jacket made from it.
I thought it was very ambitious to do something so structured with so many different parts to it. If this were a sewing pattern, it would have had 12 or 15 different pieces. In all different shapes, cut this on the bias, cut that in the straight grain. And so she did this with mostly with the Addy machine. I know she did, for instance, the ends of the sleeves are hand knit. And I'm glad that she turned to hand knitting when she needed to. I would leave off the I-cord belt as well. I'm really impressed at how she's pulled this off. It appears to be, I don't believe she felted it, but it just appears to have more body and more structure than most of the other pieces. She's somehow given it that. I also have some questions, though, about the piping detail, what looks for like 2 lines of piping. It looks just a little bit kind of wiggly, and I think she said she had felted it lightly, probably to try to give it more body. I would have liked to have seen that be cleaner. I think it would have worked better.
I thought it was, well, it made me want to put it on and snuggle it up. It's a very wearable garment. I think she did some really clever stuff with the shaping of the collar, around the collar. Wasn't sure about the lines around the collar.
The striking piping detail that you want that to be crisp and picture perfect. And there were other ways to do that. Maybe with a crochet chain, like John Reve's.
That's what I was thinking. Crochet chain would be a bit more embedded.
Yeah.
But I mean, we're talking detail. I know details are important, but I think the whole concept of the bomber jacket. To be honest, I wouldn't know where to begin with that. So I think she did a great job. She took the machine and she engineered with it.
Hi, I'm Rachel Henry, and this is Princess Osma's twirling skirt. Princess Osma is a full circle skirt for a little girl. The asymmetrical panels are seamed offset from one another to create these twirling stripes. There's a lot of motion in there and plenty of room to spin. I made all the panels for this skirt using the Addy Express king size. Starting from the small cast on to the large bind off edge, each panel takes about 11 minutes from start to finish. The seaming offsets these so that it creates the points without any additional knitting. So the only finishing is the seaming, the I-cord edge at the bottom, and then the waistband. I also decided to felt this skirt because the fabric I was getting was a little too loose for a garment, and I wanted something with a little more body. So after a couple rounds of light felting, this skirt has a lot of substance. Each of the panels has buried within it the proportions of a 30, 60, 90-degree triangle. I did a lot of math on this one to make sure that the finished skirt would have the effect that I wanted. So that's Princess Osma's twirling skirt. I hope you like it.
I thought it was great because it's something I totally wear. I can't help it.
No, that's good.
I just thought it was really fun, and the AliExpress to me is a fun machine. And I think she used it to do something, push her envelope. The match was evidently quite challenging to get those nice bias strips. She thought about it. It probably wasn't the easiest thing to do on the Express, but she used the Express effectively and made something fun and something that, it's a part of the thing about the knitting machine, it speeds things up and gives you the opportunity to take risks where you might not take those risks in hand knitting. So I think she had a good time. I think she used the machine to good effect, and I think the overall piece is really quite fun.
Actually, the way she knit this, it looks a lot more complicated than it would actually be to knit. It's simply the way that she actually put it together that makes it so unique, because they are simple strips that she just increased on one side and then went straight. So I would think, it would actually be very simple and quick to make. It's just a matter of how she assembled the strips, which is very clever.
Well, I think she did a great job. Her little girl, I assume it's her little girl playing in it, made it look like a very happy skirt that any child would love.
Like Lucy, when I looked at the photos, and I thought that the fabric looked maybe a little stiff for twirling. That was my initial impression, so I was a little concerned. But the little girl in the video definitely proved me wrong. She was twirling away, and it looked really fun, and it didn't look heavy at all. It just looks structured and nice and still very twirly. So I kind of love that. Another thing I really liked about the skirt is I thought she used the solid and the multis together very, very well. It was a cute color combination for a little girl, but I could really see that skirt in any of the solid multi combinations that we saw. She used all of the multicolors, and they were both used equally, and I kind of thought that was a nice touch too, that she really went with that surprise of, here's this bright rainbow striping yarn, and she rolled with it, and I thought that was great.
Hey everybody, this is John with the final video for Challenge 4, Express Yourself. Immediately behind me are the prime inspirations for the piece that we've talked about in the past. In developing this men's cardigan, I wanted to make sure I was really reflecting my feelings of Bainbridge Island as well as I could through the pebbly texture of the beaches, which is why the whole thing is in a reverse stockinette, this plaid reference which I kept stripping down and stripping down and stripping down because it was getting in the way of the fabric that I was loving more and more. But in the silhouette itself, I kept the front very, very open. Unusual in a men's cardigan to be this open. I think it's sexier, I think it's fresher, I think it's more relaxed. The length is considerably longer. And there are some sleeve options as far as up or down. There are no ribbings at the cuff or at the base hemline. So I hope you enjoy this. It's been a pleasure to work on in this exceedingly tight time frame. Enjoy. Thanks.
John Rade. Okay, John, I got your name right this time. Not Rade, but Rade.
The first thing I love is just the ghost plaid effect, as he calls it. Now, I've seen this done before, this kind of, I think what he did, and you chain onto the back of the fabric, and then you get this line in the front that's it looks like you embroidered, but it's really easy to do, and it looks very regular and neat, and it's a lot faster than embroidery. It looks amazing, and it works with the multicolor to make a plaid, and I thought that was incredibly clever. I love that it's disjointed. It's kind of an exploded plaid detail, but it looks just like graffiti almost, and it's not all over. So that would have been, he mentioned, what did he say? stripping down and stripping back. And we begged him to edit, and I think he finally hit the nail on the head.
It was amazing. I mean, there was no way you looked at that and thought, oh, you turned that out of a knitting machine. So she really worked with it, and I think he put a lot of time and effort in to achieve that effortless appearance. And I think it's a lovely garment, very comfortable.
And in terms of the actual design, I love the plaid. Plaids are, all over right now, and it's just it's a cool sweater. I could totally see myself wearing that a million ways. Out of all of the designs, this is the one where I was like, oh man, I would wear that every day. That's the sweater that you would throw on every single day.
Yeah, I really love that sweater. Like Mary Heather, I would wear that sweater. But some of the things I really love about it are, one, watching his process in his videos, from his initial inspiration, all the things he had on his wall, to where he finally took it, tells me that he's able to really go deeply into design and stay with it and let it emerge, kind of like childbirth. He's a good doula. and I've never seen anything that looks quite like that. I don't really like plaid, but his ghost plaid, it takes the plaid and kind of washes enough of it away that what you're left with is so evocative. I would never look at that sweater and think it wasn't done by him. I think that is an inspiring example of what you can do with the Addy Express. And I don't think that the Addy Express use was all that challenging. It was what he did after taking it off the machine. And that he put so much thought into. I think this is a really an amazing piece that never would have come to be if he hadn't had that machine.
But this is my favorite piece of this so far, and I do think he finally learned how to get it edited to just the perfect amount. Great sweater.
Hey, so my piece for challenge number 4 is the oversized Emma sweater tee. It was inspired by my lovely roommate Emma, who always wears really cute oversized t-shirts and sweaters that I love. I think this project would be great for anyone who's just bringing home their new Addy Turbo machine and wants Addy Express and wants to try it out. It was pretty simple to make, just a combination of different squares, sizes, which is great to practice on, and definitely customizable. Could be made in adult size or even toddler size if you're willing to experiment. Could definitely change up the colors, but I think that the wool provided to us was a really great choice for this sweater. I really liked making it. I enjoyed working with the machine, a new challenge. It's really a great piece to just throw on with a pair of jeans and sneakers in the winter, like in between fall weather we're having right now. So yeah, great piece, good for beginners. Hope you like it. Thanks.
So she, had mentioned that this was something that somebody gets their machine, they take it out, and 4 hours later they can have a sweater. And I would have to agree. It's very, very simple the way she did it, and it actually looks very cute. Once more, you get your vertical stripes on the bottom because of the knitting side to side.
I think it's very cute. I loved in her video how sweetly she talked about how she was sort of inspired by her roommate, and then how cute it looked on all her friends. They were all trying it on. And clearly it's successful. I don't think it's as ambitious of a design as the others. And not every design needs to be ambitious. Clearly this one is successful, and she seems to have done a good job of it. I would have liked to have seen the ribbing along the bottom. The edge looked a little bit flared, a little bit uneven. I'm not sure. She probably bound off there, I'm guessing.
It's simple. She just took the machine idea and maximized what it will do for you without any overcomplication. And it's the sideways vertical stripe, and it's got a good depth with the color. And I think it's something that a teenager, younger person than I, would love to get the machine out of the box and make one. And you can size that to be a little skimpier, but with still oversized sleeves, or you can make it totally oversized, and it will be a success either way. And there's nothing quite like having an instant success to get people started.
I have to agree really with everybody else. I think there's something nice about a simple, nice design that could be, you know, in a machine builder for when you first get this machine and you end up digging through your stash and knocking out 4 of them in a weekend, and then you've got all these huge big t-shirts to wear. I do feel design-wise, like I've probably seen things like this before, and, you know, possibly it could have been pushed further. That said, there's something nice about, you know, a simple t-shirt.
And that's that's what I echo what everyone says, and that's kind of what I love about Megan, is that she's not one of these designers, and she hasn't been designing very long compared to everyone else. She doesn't feel the need to show off and use every single technique she knows, because she's still learning. She's still adding to the repertoire, and she really, I mean, she could have done something around this end, but because it's a slash and it just rolls in, it looks really clean and unfussy and very casual. And the only problem I have is calling it an oversized sweater tee. I think for a size 6, this is barely oversized. I tried it on. It's cute, but it's almost fitted. I mean, it's not big and boxy, but she could have, you know, I just thought that it could have even been more oversized and had even more of a casual. She really is kind of in that slouchy kind of realm, and I understood what she was going for, but I don't think it was quite with it. But I think there's a place for people who design this would be the pattern that comes in the box. You know, this is what you use the first, and that's exactly what she was going for, so she achieved that. But is it exciting? No.
The top 3 pieces are Lauren Reicher's, which is the Fall Frolic, which is John Reve's Bainbridge, and Natalie Larson's Shades of Gray. Those were the 3. Are there any others in particular that anybody would like to bring into the discussion for the final winner? I mean, I personally, usually we only do the top 3 to discuss, but I just like to bring in Steve as well, just as a discussion, only because everybody did think it was quite unique, and he actually is in 4th place. He's really close. And we can discuss any other pieces that somebody else feels should be a contender up there.
I really like Jody's Toot Sweet.
The Toot Sweet one? Okay. Why is it, Kat, that you wanted to bring in Jody? What is it that you found about her?
I think that it's a not overdone design. It's everything she did is doable by anyone the first time they get the machine, and it looks stunning on a person.
And as Lauren Reicher had a very high score. She has, of course, the skirt and the top. I personally think when it comes to use of the machine, she did an excellent job in doing 2 different pieces. I mean, one where she actually did a lot of shaping, you know, put the panels together, added a little bit of handwork, and I think it was very appealing. And then the top, of course, which is pretty basic, yet she shaped it by using some hand knitting with her garter stitch done in the round. I don't think.
I think we have to judge based on who used it the most creatively, the most effectively.
Right.
That's the only way I can differentiate, because all of these have great workmanship. They're really cool garments.
Yeah, the ones that we have here. Although the workmanship, on some was better than on others, I will say. But anybody, give me your input. I mean, Mary Heather, what do you think? Which piece do you think stands out most for you? As far as these pieces here go, 2 of these pieces here are your highest scores, and 2 of these pieces here, they both had the same score. So, and that happens to be Lauren's and Natalie. So, between the 2 of them, which one would you choose?
I guess between the 2 of them, in terms of the one that I feel used the Addy Express, which was a big part of this competition. Really, in my opinion, the most thoughtfully and effectively out of all of the garments would be Lauren. I just love how she sort of used it in so many different ways. She used it well in combination with hand knitting. She used it to great effect, I think, with the skirt, and she used it really well in terms of just creating a huge volume of fabric for 2 weeks and kind of showing off what it can do there.
Yeah. For me, I'm just thinking about what you're saying and kind of thinking that what if this was an infomercial for the Addy Express? And that's kind of what Lauren's garment and Steve's, I think both show off. It's one of those, look what you can do in under, an hour. Yeah. And I think that's, to me, while Natalie's and Jody's and John's are beautiful sweaters, they're beautiful sweaters regardless. They would be hand knit stunners. I mean, they don't need the machine to really shine, and I would hand knit them. I would have no problem hand knitting any of those. I think they're gorgeous. These are the kind of things like, well, maybe I don't want to make a separate knit piece for fall, but hey, I'm going to do it because I have a few hours free. And then the I-cord piece, again, it's like, I don't want to go out and buy the big chunk of yarn. I don't have it, but I want something right now. I can whip it up on my machine. Those are, to me, they seem intimately tied to the machine, and in a way that the other pieces aren't. So for me, it's between Steve and Lauren.
Well, you have a very good point there. What about you, Lucy?
So yeah, I think Lauren's really makes absolute use of the machine. It's fun, it's fast, and it's really effective. Steve, it's something he's carried it out really beautifully, and it's something that could be taught, and it could be, the idea can be spread and shared and taken to other things. And I think it's really neat that he's done something very different, but I think probably Lauren has more merit overall. The other garments are very beautiful, and they have made the machine work for them, but it's not about the machine, which really this particular event or competition is about letting the machine boost you into a new direction. So the first two do, and the others are executing it beautifully.
Yeah. Kat, you also, two of your highest scores are in this pile here too. What are your thoughts?
Well, I'm having conflicted thoughts. I need a psychiatrist right now because I like best, I don't think should be the winner. And I have to be honest about that. The one I like best is John Reve. I just think it's elegant. But like several of you have said, you would hand knit that. You wouldn't hesitate to hand knit that. In fact, you'd almost want to because it's so interesting that you'd want to be there with every stitch. But and then Steve, I really love, but his workmanship is not. It is very crude, unfortunately. But Lauren's is really it shows what the machine can do. And so truly, Lauren has done something with the machine that makes you think, wow, we're not just making blocks of color and sewing them together. We can shape, we can make a garment, we can blah, blah, blah. I would leave her purse out. So I'm afraid I have to vote for Lauren.
Well,
So it's important for the knitting community to highlight what this machine can do. And this contest is one way of highlighting it. And it's important to be honorable about that. And I think Lauren has done that more clearly than anyone.
Yeah. I just want to say that this is the one challenge where we haven't uttered the S word, which is saleability or sellability, same word, but we've had that. It's been a very important component for the whole challenge or the whole, project because we're very concerned with that. We want things to sell. We want yarn stores to stay in business, and that's our motivation. And I think when I look at Lauren's piece, I can see, as much as when, like Mary Heather said, as soon as she mentioned separate and wearing it separately, I thought, oh yeah, okay, I would wear this with like beat up jeans, or I would wear this with a chambray top. Or I found ways to kind of take it from, even in this color combo, which is not my favorite, to make it my own. And I think knitters can also do that. And we can see this knit in tons of different color combinations and working with different women and different ages. And I think that is really important. As much as I love Steve's piece, and I think Lucy's absolutely right, it's an inspiring concept piece of art, this is, even though it's not part of the challenge, it's a winner in terms of sellability.
Well, it definitely will sell the AliExpress too.
And
because it
also
shows
the
what it
yarn. I
is.
mean, I think, you know, the combinations of she perfectly combined multi and solid, and it's light. I mean, I couldn't believe how little, this is nothing. It's really great.
What I think is really amazing with every single contestant is that they were given free reign as to how much they actually did on the Express and how much they would hand knit. And almost all of them, I would say at least 80% of their pieces are knit on the machine, which is totally the opposite of what I expected. I really thought that all these fabulous hand knitters would say, oh, I'm going to do a panel here and there, and I'm going to, you know.
Well, 2 weeks' time, maybe they had to.
Well, I guess so. I don't know. I'm just impressed. Yeah. I'm really impressed. But, yeah, like Kat, I wish we could have, you know, a winner, a runner-up, a this, and that. In my eyes, I would have to say Lauren is my winner this week. And I have a feeling everybody else is agreeing. Is there anyone who disagrees at this time? No. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So, yeah, I think we could actually, with confidence, say that Lauren is our winner. Yeah, Lauren.